Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm vlogging from New Jersey. I'm going to be sharing with you a storytime video, and this story is my vegan story. This is the story of how I turned my health around. And it starts way back. So guys, get ready, get some popcorn, vegan popcorn. Let's get started. I say about 15 years ago, I'm 15 years old and I'm pretty unhealthy. I'm just getting into partying and stuff, and I started to gain a little bit of weight. I started to eat unhealthy. Once I basically made a good group of friends, I started to just try to be like them, and I started just eating whatever everybody else ate. Basically just figured if they could eat pizza, I could eat pizza. If they could have Taco Bell, I could have Taco Bell. And I started to gain a little weight, but nothing too dramatic. I still felt good about myself. And then I met this guy, he became my boyfriend. We dated for like 6 years, got into health and fitness. Health was very low though. I still ate junk food and stuff, but fitness was high. We had protein shakes and stuff, and the fitness was the big thing that changed me, and I dropped down to like 102 pounds. And I realized that I need to work out if I want to lose weight. My metabolism is not very fast. The relationship was not healthy. Got into a lot of fights, like I'd say a fight a day. Silly drama, always drama over guys and stuff, and it was just like a very unhealthy relationship, and we were just really young, and its time came to an end when I was turning 21, and I was like, I need to like, be my own person and experience my life and be a mature, independent woman, and I'm not going to be able to do that in this relationship. I broke it off, cut it loose, and I said, it's time for me to be me. I felt like I was such an empowered, independent woman. I started getting into marketing and learning about branding, and this is like right around the time I turned 21, and I wanted to party. I wanted to experience like my youth like everybody else was at that point, going to bars and clubs and stuff, and most of these people had been doing that since they were like 17 years old. So I felt like I was like new on the scene. I got to experience it all, and with that I started going back to living like everybody else. If I saw girls having six-packs and eating pizza and drinking martinis, I did it too. If I saw people having diner food at midnight after partying, I did it too. And then if I saw people staying out occasionally going to after hours clubs, I did it too. For some reason, my health deteriorated, and I wasn't a crazy partier. I was like most other 21-year-olds that were experiencing life. These days, people are much more intense than I was back then. Some people eat much more unhealthy than I did, and for some reason, the lifestyle, the food I was eating, the way I was just living my life, sleeping late and just not taking care of myself, taking Adderall every day. I was taking it for schoolwork. I'd been taking it since I was like 13 years old, so it wasn't like it was like a drug kind of thing. I was just on it always. There were things that I tried and stuff that were just kind of like stupid things that people tried, but for the most part, the Adderall was really the Adderall, the food, the little bit of drinking, the not sleeping properly, and just basically eating late at night. Those things, within 3 months after turning 21, my health had completely deteriorated. I'd gained close to 60 pounds. My hair had also deteriorated. Like, it was dry and dead, and if you think this looks dead, you have to see a picture of what it looked like back then, because it was fried. And that wasn't even from that much highlighting or hairstyling. It was just because my diet, just my hair deteriorated, and anything I did to it, straightened it, curled it, highlighted it, just amplified it, made it worse. I also was getting into hair extensions because I wanted my hair to look thick and glamorous, and I used to glue them in, and the glue would make chunks of my hair come out, and I didn't care because I was like immature and just trying to be an adult and do my own thing, and I didn't listen to anybody. And within a couple months, all the hair I had left was like this on my head. It was just done, and I had to wear extensions from that point forward. It was like I couldn't even, I felt so self-conscious about everything. So now I went from being like 105 pounds at 19, 20 years old to being like 160, almost 170 pounds, and feeling the worst I've ever felt in my life at a time where most people are feeling their best and having fun and, you know, doing great with everything, doing great in school, looking their best. I felt the worst. It was just like this point where I was like, what am I doing with myself? And I didn't know where to start. I was doing okay with work and marketing and stuff. I had dropped out of school a bit, and I wasn't like really enjoying school anymore. I enjoyed doing business and sales and stuff, so I never really fell off there. But I met this amazing guy who's now my fiance, Keith, right about when I'm turning 22 years old, and he's just the most inspiring guy I'd ever met. So motivated. He had made this fitness magazine. It was all about health and diet, nutrition, all that, and reading all these easy to read articles about vitamins and how they affect your body or just really inspired me. I decided to start working with him and help him market his magazine online. Built a like pretty big presence using the sites at the time, like MySpace and a little bit of Facebook and stuff, and we had a blast doing it, and I learned so much about health, and I was able to turn my health around. So I got on Isogenics. It's a nutritional cleanse. I lost about 15 pounds. I started to feel like I could make progress, and that inspired me to lose more. So once I kind of got sick of doing Isogenics, I was like, I need to just do this regularly, and I need to start cooking. And I started learning how to cook like healthy vegetables and stuff, and I was doing really good, but I wanted to get healthier. I wanted to get myself more Adderall, and I didn't feel like I ever would be able to do it because I was on it for so many years. It was, for me, it was like insulin for a diabetic. It felt like something that I had to do. It wasn't something I questioned, but I guess because I had gotten so out of control with it, it really took a toll on my health. I originally took like 5 milligrams of Ritalin and went up to like 10 milligrams of Adderall. And then eventually I was taking like 40 to 60 milligrams of Adderall a day. This is time release, so I don't know how I was still alive doing that, but at that point I was like, I need to cut back. And Keith actually threw it out, and I had a panic attack, and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna function anymore. Like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do with myself, because all I knew from a day without Adderall was that I was losing my mind. And everybody would say, well, that's because you have ADD. You can't function without it. And I didn't realize I was just going through withdrawal symptoms, and I had no idea just what to do with myself. You know, being a person on something for 10 years, going off it for a day, you don't know who that person is. It's a complete opposite to what you know. That person's only thinking about one thing, which is how they're gonna get that pill, feels exhausted, wants to eat all day, wants to sleep all day, doesn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't know if I'd ever feel good again. So I was miserable for the first week. And then I said, I have to do something. I can't feel like this, so I need to figure out how I can get myself to feel that way and be able to concentrate and just function better as a person naturally. So I researched articles on how to boost your dopamine levels and all your neurotransmitter levels and feel healthier, get less fatigue. I went to Vitamin Shop, I asked questions, I got a bunch of vitamins. I decided to get this Deepak Chopra audiobook and listen to it as I ran and walked about fatigue, so I can learn how to overpower that fatigue and lethargy that I felt. It was that point that changed my life. Being on the vitamins, they helped a bit, but when I heard in the audiobook that if I cut out red meat, I would reduce my fatigue levels dramatically, and I actually did it and saw results from it, I was like, never going back. I already didn't really care much for red meat to begin with, so it wasn't something I was crazy about, but I had it every day because I thought it was important for my health. Little did I realize it was making me exhausted. I also learned that things like gluten and dairy and stuff, you can have intolerances to it, or they can weigh you down a bit. So I decided to cut gluten out really, and I cut out processed foods because I just assumed that maybe they weren't good for me. I figured because of having things like, you know, sugar issues and ADD issues when I was younger, maybe I have food allergies and stuff, I don't know. So I figured I might as well just give it a shot and just eat organic, healthy food. So I went to Trader Joe's, I got a bunch of food, I learned how to cook, and I started embarking on a vegan journey. I cut chicken out after that, and then not too long I cut out fish. I was completely eating organic and basically just still had dairy in my life. And then about 5 years ago, I connected to this woman, Freely. She's a YouTuber, a big person in the vegan community, and she suggested that I stop having eggs because I don't need them in my diet. I can get the nutrients elsewhere and protein elsewhere. She said if I cut out dairy, I'll probably feel even more energy, and I'll be able to probably see like less acne, and like my skin will just look overall better and stuff. So I cut it out. 5 years later, I'm still 100% vegan, and if something happens by accident and somebody puts like heavy cream in a soup, or like I get some sort of cheese in something, I will get sick from it because I didn't realize that I do have an intolerance until you cut these things out of your diet. Recently, I did a DNA test, and all the things that I've been doing for my health over the last like 5 to 8 years have been things that I needed to do for my health to survive. Like I have certain risks for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, breast cancer. I have the breast cancer gene. So it was really interesting to read that, and I felt really good to know that I've been doing a lot of the right things for my body. I'm 100% lactose intolerant. I also have it's a risk for celiac disease, or a risk for gluten intolerance. So it just makes sense why I've always hated things like bread, and it always made me feel tired and like sick. But I just assumed that everybody else felt that way. Kind of the same with dairy. Whenever I would have stuff like yogurt and stuff, I loved the taste, but I always felt like I needed a nap after, and I assumed that everybody felt like that and just enjoyed it. So I guess you never really know. But all those things were really important for me to read. It really like validated the lifestyle that I have. I have a specific gene that gives me DNA damage when I have cooked red meat. When you cook red meat, it releases these 2 types of chemicals, and for some reason with my DNA, I get oxidative stress and DNA damage from eating cooked red meat. Thank God I cut that out of my diet. It was like as if the universe just put me on the right path for me. Going vegan was not something for animals or something I heard from somebody else in a documentary or something. It was all something that I discovered on my own, and years ago when people thought it was the strangest thing in the world. So that's my story. Since then, I've watched a lot of documentaries that have been really inspiring to me, like The Beautiful Truth. I just watched basically every single one on Netflix, and they're all really inspiring, and they definitely make me feel really good about being vegan, so I highly suggest watching those documentaries. So I strongly urge everybody to look at your health on an individual basis. Look at your health, not the health of everybody you're friends with, or your grandma's health, or your mom's health. Look at your health. Get your DNA test. Learn about your body and risks you have, what advantages you have, what vitamins you have deficiencies in, what food intolerances you have, and understand how your body works, and then you can create a diet that works for you. And once you do that, you'll live the best possible life for you, and your health will turn around completely. We get so worried and bogged down about aging and cancer and diseases and stuff, but we can prevent them. We may have risks, but they're not definites in our life. Like, for example, I read that I have risk for breast cancer. If I have things like curcumin and resveratrol in my diet, it brings me down to a regular person's risk, a person that doesn't have a risk at all. So just by making minor changes in our lifestyle based on our genetics, we could completely change our future. So that's my story, that's my 2 cents, that's my soapbox. I guess the only thing I kind of didn't really touch on is that I do still work out every day, so I highly suggest learning about your body and what works for you and keeping a fit and active lifestyle. We all need fitness. It's just a huge part of our lives and it's really important. It just keeps your metabolism going and keeps your body as a system functioning the way it's supposed to. Humans are meant to move. So I hope you guys like this video. I'd love to hear if you guys have any amazing stories about going vegan, or if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave it in a comment below. I'd be happy to answer it for you. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.